Are you an idiot? Well, you're in good company. There are about 8 billion idiots on this planet, and that number grows every day. Don't be the guy or gal that says, "I'm not an idiot," because that makes you the biggest idiot of all. We all have our moments of brilliance and our moments of idiocy. Embrace it, folks. Don't be ashamed. Without those idiot moments, we would never be able to appreciate our brilliance. Welcome to I Love My Idiot, a podcast about the idiots we love, the idiots we loathe, and the idiots we can't seem to avoid. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Visit our website at ilovemyidiot.com.
Welcome to another episode of I Love My Idiot.
I'm your equal host, Clyde November.
And I'm Rosie November.
We're glad to have you with us today.
That's right. So, Clyde, it's been a really interesting week.
It has. I started the week out putting up missing posters for our baby Jesus. Posted them all around the neighborhood. I really raised awareness that baby Jesus was missing.
Yeah.
And good news, he's back.
Nice.
He has returned. I still don't know who took baby Jesus. He just showed up.
Yeah, he was laying right there next to baby Sarah, more on top of her. I don't know if it was really appropriate.
Yeah, it looked a little sexual. These are babies, people. I don't know who this teenager was, but not funny.
I'm sure it's somebody that their mom saw your posters that you had hung on all the trees in the neighborhood and was like, "Hey, one of those is at my house right now. Better return it."
I recognize that baby. Yeah, totally. So thank you, whoever that mom is. And in fact, speaking of thanks, I would say that there's a list of people I need to thank for the return of baby Jesus.
I would say equally there's a list of people that you should apologize to.
We'll get to that later. I'm still fuming. It's hard to apologize when you're fuming. So I want to thank the Denver Police Department for taking such an active role. The lady on the phone almost seemed like she cared. She said, "Do you want to file a police report for this?" And I was like, "Duh. Why do you think I'm calling?"
That cost me $26 on eBay.
Yeah. So thank you to them. They sent out one patrol officer. The guy, he was a rookie, I could tell. And it was probably
like his first day on the job.
The other cops were probably like playing a prank on him. Like, "Oh my gosh, this will be a hilarious prank. Let's send him to that call." But he cared. Yeah. And I could tell, he was Christian, probably more Christian than I am, actually, but,
You're like just on the cusp.
I'm on the cusp,
not really sure.
I love baby Jesus,
Baby Jesus is your favorite Jesus.
Dang right. So also, I'd like to thank the Neighborhood Watch. I feel like a lot of people told me that they would keep an eye out, whether they were serious or not. They were cordial, I would say.
Also, you should thank the 90-year-old neighbor, Anne, who has been looking out her window every day to spy on the teenagers that walk by.
Yeah. And, when that 90-year-old neighbor was like 70-year-old neighbor, and I was 15, that lady hated me. I would just like to point that out. One time she came out of her house holding a broom, threatening to swing it at me because I was climbing her tree. So I've kind of had a vendetta against her, but now that she's in her 90s, I find her much more pleasant.
Yes.
And also now that I'm in my 30s, she finds me much more pleasant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so thank you to a large array of people. I don't have time to name names, and partially I don't know most of your names. Nor do I care. But baby Jesus has returned. Baby Sarah has also returned back to little Rosie's.
Yeah, but she's missing a freaking arm now.
Look,
little Rosie doesn't even want to look at her anymore.
It's nothing a little duct tape can't solve. I thought I'd be able to pop the arm back in the socket. Apparently I damaged it.
It never goes back in the same, after you've ripped an arm out and thrown a bike chain through it. It never goes back together.
It wasn't the best judgment on my part, but, baby Sarah did not get kidnapped. So
that is true. I do find it very interesting that you now have 3 bike locks holding down baby Jesus.
Yeah. I had to take them off my bike rack, which already was
Yeah.
off, and then your bike and Rex's bike as well. So
none of our bikes are safe at this point. So
no, they're not. But you know what?
if you're in search of a bike, teenagers in the neighborhood, you might be able to find one at the
Easy
November
target.
house.
Easy target.
But baby Jesus will not go astray again.
Baby Jesus is here to stay.
I mean, I consider us blessed that he wasn't vandalized in any way, that he came back in one piece. He looked the same as when he left.
Yeah. No new tattoos on baby Jesus.
No, he's all good.
Yeah.
Anyhow, well, I'm glad you put out such an effort and it was rewarded with the return of your baby Jesus.
As am I. And I think the final person I would like to thank is you.
Yeah.
Because when I was threatening our neighbors, when I was out patrolling the street with a 9-iron in hand, you had my back. You never told me I was being ridiculous. You just kept saying, you find our baby Jesus.
By having your back, I purchased about 30 pies and delivered them to all of our neighbors so that they wouldn't hate us.
You know, it's fine. You're keeping the peace. I'm letting them know who the alpha of the neighborhood is. Right?
Yeah, yes. Everybody knows Clyde.
Everyone knows who the dick in the neighborhood is now. They're like, man, that guy that moved into the old November house is a dick.
Whoa.
What the hell? Is that freaking Rex? Hey, go to bed. Oh my gosh! We are greeted by a special guest. Dude, did you break into our house? We got to start locking the door when we podcast.
I was in the neighborhood, and I know you guys were just getting settled in here.
Oh my gosh, we have a special guest. Andrew, pull up to that mic over here.
Not awkward. You don't mind if I just jump into your podcast?
No.
We thought you were dead, Andrew. We've been calling you for weeks.
Dead in a ditch, waiting to return my calls.
Some would say I died a little inside when I wasn't around you guys.
Yeah, well, it's really weird because you no-showed and then you really never came back.
Kind of shocking. I mean, I no-showed with no pay happening. You know what I mean?
I know, but you were our only
That's probably
employee.
the best way to handle you kind of people, you know? People I love. Let me correct the sentence there.
Yeah, I thought about also filing a police report for you. Like, you were gone.
I'm sure they would have got buried in all the other police reports. So
I know. They'd be like, we're too busy looking for baby Jesus to search out Andrew.
Yeah.
They're like, baby Jesus or this random sound guy that never got paid.
Well, I knew you were
Unjustly.
alive because every now and then I would see you were on Facebook. So I was like, okay, he's still with the living, but...
Oh, a little Facebook stalking, huh? He's
Yeah.
still with the living. I think everyone on Facebook is dead by now. Like,
He's just avoiding us. So, real quick, let's catch people up in case they have forgotten, which I can't imagine. A lot of people have actually said, are you ever going to get that Andrew guy in front of the mic again? And I kept saying, Andrew's mad at me. For some reason, I don't know why. I don't understand.
You guys keep talking me up. You're like,
I know.
people loved you, Andrew. You should get back on the show. And I'm like, well, what kind of ploy is happening? What do I get out of it? You know what I mean? Like,
I understand, but you were our only employee.
Exactly. So, Andrew was our
I feel a little
employee.
special hearing it that way.
And by
You
was,
guys are good at flattery.
I mean, he never technically quit.
He didn't. So technically, you still have your job if you would like it to keep it.
Yeah, and we haven't fired you.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah,
Yet.
I felt that coming out of your mouth early.
I did put you on a temporary leave in our HRIS system. So
Wait, we have systems?
So you have trouble running social media, but you have these advanced.
Yes.
Yeah, so we negotiated with you about your pay that you would get a foot massage from Rosie's mom. I believe we were angling for her to wear a mini skirt, but I don't think that worked out.
Yeah. How did that go with the foot massage?
Is she listening? I mean that because I wanted to hear the dark, gritty truth. No, I'm not sugarcoating this one.
Oh, just always assume she's not listening, but,
Oh, okay.
you know.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. We love
Great. Love you, but the massage,
Ish.
I don't know.
It wasn't that good
I could do a follow-up, but on a dark day, maybe.
on a dark day.
When I need human connection and all has been lost. And
Yeah.
you know what? I just need a foot massage right now. I don't care how good it is. I don't care how bad it is. But I don't know. I won't knock it too hard. I was a little disappointed, but I love your mom. Like, don't get me wrong.
You gotta love mom.
Yeah, no, it's not about personality. It's about technique.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, you could have a great personality, but if you don't deliver through that personality a technique in your hands, like to get it nice and...
Well, to give her some credit, she hasn't massaged a lot of feet.
It shows.
But she has used her hands, let me tell you.
She's used to massaging other things, if you know what I mean.
Why wasn't this on the table? Or under the table?
Because you're married, remember?
Oh, yeah.
We thought it was really weird. You got your foot massage as payment, and then you literally have never been back to work. So was it because the foot massage wasn't that great?
You know, it leaves a mark on you.
Yeah.
When you...
Did you leave that foot massage feeling like we still owed you something?
Yeah.
Your mom is an angel and did her best. Sometimes your best isn't good enough. But, you know, I mean, we made some meaningful eye contact, and I cried on her shoulder.
Yeah.
Sure.
And,
Did you see the butterfly?
How do you not see the butterfly? That is in season all year round. I'll
Yeah.
tell you.
It's
beautiful. It's got the orange and black, the monarch, you know.
Yeah.
My favorite butterfly, too. It's hard not to stare, you know. But
Sure.
That's the butterfly.
Sure.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah, the butterfly.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's nature.
There's nothing wrong with nature.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not the fact that it's tattooed on her breast or anything.
Oh, wait, it's on her breast?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Too busy looking at the butterfly to even pick up on
Mikkel,
that.
I didn't know, I promise.
Yeah,
my
you just
gosh.
sold Andrew out. His wife's listening too.
Yeah.
Hi, Mikkel.
Hi, Mikkel. We love you.
Love you, too.
Andrew, my question for you right now. Are you back to be back? Are you our employees still?
You know, what do you got for me? That's the question.
Oh, man. More payments?
I'm going to be honest with you. We can't raise your base pay
Yeah.
of nothing. We can't afford it. But
Honorable.
I think we definitely need to create some kind of bonus system
Yeah.
for Andrew.
Yeah. But I would like to say, though, that you are actually receiving some money now from this podcast because we're semi-famous. And you were promised 1%. So since we have made $17...
That means
May not want to mention it on
17
air.
cents. Yeah. So we owe you a dime, a nickel,
we
and
do.
2 pennies.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Which
Yeah.
I don't have right now.
I could get some bubble gum from the 1920s. 'Cause
Yes.
That's what it cost back then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got that.
Yeah.
Okay.
17
I mean,
cents.
assuming you still work for us.
Yeah.
Because if you don't work with us, you must be here all the way to the end of the year before we pay you. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
that 1%, I mean,
Kind of
it could increase
A contract
by,
deal almost, or what
Yeah.
are we? Okay.
like by January 1, we may be up to like $20, and that's like 20 cents.
That's a chunk of
straight
change.
to your pocket.
That's more than what I'm used to. So.
Yeah.
That's 2 dimes.
Yeah.
2 dimes.
And since we weren't expecting you tonight, we don't have your normal case of beer that we were giving you.
Oh, I already had my normal case of beer on the way over.
Oh,
so don't
okay.
you worry.
I thought I smelled something.
I had to walk, so I'm being safe, kids. You know, don't
Sure.
drink and drive.
All right. So,
and
what
drink.
kind of bonuses on top of the 1% of all profits could we offer? Andrew did mention that he likes jelly beans. Jelly bean
Yeah.
season is over. Since we're far past Easter, we've replaced it with candy corn. How do you
Okay.
feel about candy corn?
I love candy corn. I know a lot of people hate candy corn. I mean, I understand why. It's like plastic with food coloring, but it still
Dude, I
tastes
love
amazing.
candy corn.
Delicious.
It's like one of my
Plastic.
favorite candies.
So the jelly beans we were hesitant to give you because they were little rosies, but the candy corn is big rosy. So
Hey,
only want them
hold
if
it
they-
on the big rosy stuff. Like I don't like. Let's not let that become a podcast
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
thing.
I only
bet.
want them if they're little rosies because I like to steal candy from babies, apparently.
Oh my gosh.
Well, fair enough. We can pull some out of her jar. So
Yes.
I say we put candy corn on the table.
Yeah.
A case of beer.
Yes. You're still at your 1% of
Yeah,
profitability.
1%. That's your base pay.
I think
Yeah.
that's the big item right there.
Yeah.
When we become millionaires,
Yeah, that's gonna
that
be like
1%'s going to pay off.
that's gonna be like $1,000 for you.
The 10 years we will have been doing this will have paid off.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
The 20, 30
You got to
years.
be in it for the long haul.
Yeah,
This is
I
not
can see
a-
what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in. Yeah.
You're in?
Yeah.
Wow, that
All right,
wasn't
great.
bad.
Yeah.
All right, case of beer. Now, we didn't...
No more foot massages.
We didn't specify what a case of beer was. Are we talking 6-pack, 12-pack, 24-pack?
Babe, a case is a case.
I don't know what a case is.
And once you seal the deal, you don't really want to go back.
Yeah, no.
All
we'll
right.
let Andrew pick. We'll go to the store.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll let him pick
Sound like a kid in a candy store right now.
whatever
Thank
he
you.
wants.
I know.
I mean, I prefer him not to drink it while he's at work, but
Sometimes I think
Yeah.
he does his best work when he's, drunk.
Yeah, how do you think I put up with you guys? I mean, I have to have some kind of way to tolerate
yeah, like that social lubrication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
lubrication. What are you talking about?
That's hurtful. You
Social
don't need to be
lubrication.
drunk to enjoy my company.
I don't
Oh,
need
are
to
you kidding me? I've been drunk for 13 years. So now that you're back, Andrew, does this mean that you'll be helping again with the sound? Because it has been up to Clyde over this last few weeks.
It has brought me so much stress.
Yes. Yeah, he's lost at least 6 hairs from his balding head.
Yeah, and you've
Which is a little bit faster
Yeah.
than the normal rate of 4.
who's counting? You know,
Yeah.
scalp to hair ratio is increasing.
It's, yes.
So I always had a scar on my head that was right on my hairline,
Yeah.
and now it's about half a centimeter away from my hairline.
Yeah.
It's sad. Either the scar is moving or the hairline's
Yeah.
moving. I don't know.
I'm just saying your return to employment with us is very exciting for Clyde because he's missed you.
Yeah, and I've missed you guys too, and I think people want better sound in general. I'm not
Oh, sure.
saying that it went downhill, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe it did, maybe it
I'm
didn't.
not going to lie. There were times I just was pushing shit and
Yeah.
just hoping it came out okay. And
Shit were you pushing? What's going
I
on?
don't know. Your job's hard, dude.
I was wondering why the red button was green. It's supposed to be red. What's going on over here?
Yeah, that was probably me. I probably messed up all of this nice equipment that we bought.
Yeah, in fact, we kind of need a tune-up because
There's like cobwebs on the buttons.
yeah,
and,
there's
Exactly.
there's a lot going on here without you, Andrew. We've really missed you. We're glad you're back.
Yeah, I know. Thank you for having me back.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for coming over. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, thanks for having me uninvited. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm
Wandered
just
into your house
Yeah.
and knocked on your door, and
I'm just glad you're
Here we
alive,
are.
buddy. Like we haven't heard from you in so long.
There
so
were
this
times,
is so
you know.
exciting.
I know.
This is so exciting.
You need to start returning my calls too.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
yeah.
Mostly I just want to know that you're alive.
So the 2 times a month that I'm hoping that you do show up for work, even if you don't show up, maybe just like, say that you're
Leave a
still
plate
alive.
of cookies at your doorstep.
Yes.
I'm,
Send
it
that
says I'm
text.
still alive. Enjoy
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
delicious
Yeah.
chocolate chip cookies.
At least have the common courtesy to call in sick, you know?
Yeah.
So we know. We're like, oh, okay. Sick again.
Yeah, he hasn't quit on us.
Slash drunk.
No, drunk is fine.
It's the
Come
same
on
thing.
in drunk. I don't care.
You do a better job.
No, we this podcast wouldn't be what it is today if it were not for you.
I know.
Thank you.
It's very true.
yeah.
All joking aside, you are the guy that made us sound like a podcast worth
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah, that's right. I think that you guys are good people, and you say, how it is in an interesting way, and people want to hear that. So let's get it out there, right?
You know, I'm feeling generous.
Are you?
I mean, Christmas is coming up.
Yeah.
He needs a Christmas bonus,
He did
right?
a Christmas bonus. All
right.
right.
Oh,
I don't disagrey.
It's a little bit too early for that Christmas bonus. I just want to make sure I'm enticing you enough to come back.
Christmas 2020, not this year. I hope you don't mind if I empty all my cans out in your recycling bin.
Yeah,
I
that's
left
fine.
them out on the curb next to baby Jesus.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. How did our yard look, by the way? Like when you drove up, what did you think?
I was like, "That's the house I know." It's very lit up and it's like
Yeah.
it's like highlighted. It's like when you're on a computer and you highlight a file and like light surrounds the text. It's like the light surrounding your house was like, "Oh, that's the house of the street that everyone envies, probably too."
There we go.
Did you think it looked good? Because Clyde risked
looks really good,
Yeah, he
yeah.
risked his life. He got on the roof,
That's
which
right.
is not safe.
He's been on that roof a lot. I remember Old Man November getting him up there.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, I used to decorate lights. Also, do you remember the summer I re-roofed this house?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. I
You
do
know.
not envy you.
I hated that job.
I'm glad I have good parents. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Sorry, old man November. I love you.
It's all right. He
I
doesn't
love you.
listen.
I know, right?
Actually, they refuse to listen because they don't want to support our silly ideas.
Yeah, I don't think silly was the right word. My mom said stupid.
Oh, did they
This
hear?
is stupid.
Did they hear your podcast?
She said no, but just
no.
stories of,
Siblings to
Claudia
siblings.
talking about it. And
Yeah.
she's like, Clyde, for the last time, you are bringing shame to our family. Please stop with this podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Every Sunday, so we have Sunday dinners together. Every Sunday she asks if we're going to stop podcasting. And every Sunday we
boy.
tell her, nope, we're going to keep going. In fact, I think this is something that Clyde and I could do for the remainder of our marriage.
for indefinitely.
Yeah.
A few weeks worth, eh?
Yes,
That's very generous.
yes, exactly.
How dare you?
Hey, I did go off to be a semi-Buddhist monk for a while, so
Yeah.
I have insight into,
There you go. You're reading our
people's
energy
Yeah.
right
energy
now.
levels or doing some weird juju.
Well, that's just how we've survived marriage is, there's love and then there's underlying hatred.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the hate drives the love, right?
It really does.
That's right.
Yeah.
Love is the vehicle, but hate is the driver.
You got to have
Exactly.
those bad moments to know how much you really love a person in the good times, right?
That's true. Yeah. I know that every time Clyde does the dishes inside, he's saying hateful words towards me, but he's still doing the dishes and I still love him for it,
And every time I go to take a shower and there's like 6 bras just hanging on the shower railing, I have the same thought.
Yeah.
But you sniff it first.
Oh
right?
yeah, I totally motorboat them. But that's beside the point.
Wear them as hats.
Put your bras away. Andrew, you are welcome to pop in anytime.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm glad you still remember that we record on this day at this time. So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Still got it on my calendar. I just don't follow it.
Oh, man.
All right, well, I better get taken off. I appreciate your time, and hello to all the listeners out there. I appreciate you guys listening in, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see you later,
See you
Andrew.
later, Andrew. We
Bye.
love you.
Well, what a treat to have Andrew back.
Yeah, that was awesome. He's been a big part of our podcast. So,
He's been a big part of my life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Him and I, we go way back. Once upon a time, he recommended a book for me to read. Many people have heard of this book. It's called Twilight.
oh my gosh.
Now, he recommended this to me when I was an adult, right? I was like 24 years old. And he said to me, hey, there's this book. Have you
yeah, because
heard
it
of
came
it?
out when we were 24.
Yeah.
Like, this is not an old book.
I was not the target audience. And he said, have you heard of this book? I'd never even heard of it. It was before the movies were made. And I said, no. And he said, it's about this girl that falls in love with a vampire. And I'm like, okay, it sounds lame. And he's like, dude, it's so good. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try. So the next time I'm at a bookstore, I buy the first 2 books in the Twilight series.
Yeah.
I read the first book, I get about halfway through, and I'm thinking, what is this crap I'm reading? This
Yeah.
is the worst book I've read in a long time. So I call Andrew up halfway through the book, and I say, Andrew, what's the deal? Why am I reading this book? This book is lame.
Mm-hmm.
Keep reading, dude. Keep reading. You won't regret it. So I'm thinking, okay, something huge is
Yeah.
coming. I got to keep reading this. Finish the book. The ending, yeah, it picked up a little in the last like 30 pages, but overall, I hated the book. And so when I was done with it, I called him and I said, dude, that book was terrible. And he said, yeah, but did you notice how it picked up in the last 30 pages?
Oh my gosh.
And I said, yeah. And he's like, keep reading, dude.
Oh
Keep reading.
my gosh.
He's like, book 2 starts right from that excitement and just takes off. So I'm like, okay. So I pick up book 2. I got about 100 pages into that one before I was like, okay, no, I'm done. Now, a whole bunch of time goes by.
Yeah.
And I go, months without seeing Andrew. And then when I see him again, I say, hey, by the way, what's the deal with you recommending Twilight to me?
Mm-hmm.
And he said to me, this girl recommended it to me. And I'm going to be honest with you. I hated it, but I wanted to like it
Yeah.
because she liked it. And I like totally get it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
every guy has faked liking something in an attempt to get laid or something, you know?
Oh, trust me, every girl's faked to like something too.
Yeah, we all fake things. So I was like, no, I totally understand that. Just next time, don't recommend it to your friends. I have forgiven him for this. I've moved on. It may not sound like it, but I have moved on. But thanks to Andrew, I have read the first book and a quarter of the Twilight series. So, yeah. What's the worst book you've ever read?
Of Mice and Men.
What? I love Of Mice and Men.
Dude, it's the saddest book I have ever read, and I hate reading sad stories.
I love Of Mice and Men. Lenny, such a charming character.
Yeah.
And George, so wise and friendly and firm at the same time.
It wasn't my favorite.
I do remember while you were reading that book, you were in the other room, and I randomly just heard you start crying.
Yeah, it was a very sad story.
Yeah, but not like tearing up. You were like wailing.
Yeah, well, I'm a wailer, so that's...
You are a wailer.
That's my thing. When I cry, I'm a wailer, so... Especially if it really touches me deeply, like when your grandma died.
Oh, yeah.
The Novembers still talk about it.
I know. And it wasn't just the Novembers. All of my relatives got to see a side of Rosie.
Yeah, well, she was my pinochle partner, so... Losing my pinochle partner and one of my best friends, it was like, yeah, it was a rough go. Yeah. And I cried louder than any November because Novembers cry very silently with 0 tears. And then all of a sudden there's a Rosie in the corner just wailing and crying as loud as I possibly could because that's how I do it.
We keep things close to the chest.
Yeah.
You don't. All right. Well, Rosie, over the last few months, several people have filled our inbox with questions, some of which seem to be like relationship advice. So I thought it would be fun to actually pull some of those questions out and answer them on the podcast.
Yeah.
Are you ready to go?
Sure.
All right. Our first question comes from Daryl.
Daryl. Good name.
Daryl. Daryl lives in Birmingham, Alabama. Hello, Daryl, and welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for listening, Daryl.
Yeah, he sent this one about a month and a half ago, so hopefully he's still listening and gets to hear his question on the podcast.
By the way, we're the worst at doing this, so I'm glad that we've made a segment on the podcast for answering questions. I do respond to every email, but I know it takes me sometimes a minute or two to get an email back. So anyways, Daryl, we appreciate you.
Dear Clyde and Rosie, I've worked with this girl for years. And every day I fall deeper in love with her. Do you have any good advice of how to take the next step?
Don't do it, Daryl.
Dude, you work with the girl. It's a disaster waiting to happen. Now, if you plan on quitting your job, do it. Go for it. But it's going to be awkward. She's eventually going to see your true colors. And then all your employees, fellow employees, are going to hate you.
It's never a good thing to spark up workplace relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Part of the problem is that relationships of any kind have more than a 50% chance of not working out, right? The divorce rate, I think, in the United States right now is close to 60%. So relationships come and go, right? But your job could be on the line. You really have to think about, is it worth losing my job over if this relationship were to go somewhere?
Now, I know from a guy's perspective, he's not thinking about losing his job. He's not thinking about losing a friendship. He's not thinking about any of that stuff. He's just thinking about getting his wang played with, you know?
No.
It's true.
No, he's not.
Come on, Daryl, back me up.
You don't know that. Not every man is driven by his penis. Like maybe you were when you were in the dating game, but I think people genuinely want to connect with others. And I think it's a lonely world, right? And you want to share it with a partner. And the workplace is a place where we spend more time at work than we do at home in most cases. And so that's where you meet people, right? But I think that you should really have caution into going into a relationship with somebody in the workplace because it could result in somebody losing their job at the end of the day. Because especially if it ends poorly and you still have to work with that person, Eventually, you'd make each other so miserable that one of you would quit. If you really want to do it, Daryl, you can do it, but just have caution that if it ends poorly, it could result in some negative outcomes.
So I guess she better be worth it, Daryl.
Yeah.
Right. You're right. Maybe the wing thing was out of place. And it did say he falls deeper in love with her. So this is something that's beyond just sexual attraction.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Sorry, Daryl. I classed you in with every asshole guy. That was wrong of me.
Yeah, Clyde has some weird friends, Daryl. Don't let him. Let's not let him make any judgment calls on being a single dude in today's day and age. Clyde hasn't been single for 14 years. So, yeah. He's been out of the game. I can't even imagine if you went back out on the dating field, like what that would be like for any woman that you came into counter with.
Here's the thing. I have said if anything happens to this marriage or like you drive off a cliff or something tragically, I am retiring. Dude, at this point in my life.
Just the idea of having to put myself out there to somebody that I work with, it's like, it sickens me. Like, it makes me feel ill to think that, like, I would be sparking up a romantic relationship outside of this marriage because I just think dating is hard. Like, being single is rough. And
the thought of having a new human see me naked, when you and I first got together, I had a 6-pack.
Yeah.
Now I don't have anything about this body that's attractive.
You have
but
a 1-pack.
You still find me attractive because I've been grandfathered in.
Yeah. You're a 5, but you still get the 10 you were.
That's right.
When we got together.
So I'm a 15, right? There we go.
That's right. Daryl, good luck out there, buddy.
Question number 2 comes from Chad in Cincinnati.
Yes, Chad.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
I have to admit, I dated a Chad one time. He was a pervert.
All Chads are. No. One team leader I had in the Army, his name was Chad. He wasn't a perv.
Oh, good.
He was one of the few Army guys I ever met that wasn't a perv, actually. It was kind of weird. All right. So Chad asks us, my ex-girlfriend just contacted me on Facebook. I am happily married, but a little intrigued. Tell me, Clyde and Rosie, what to do. Delete
that message. Don't even open it, Chad. It's not worth it.
You're stepping into dangerous territory.
It's just not worth it. Because you and her did not work out for a reason. Whether that reason was imposed upon you or if you imposed that upon her, either way, there was a reason that it didn't work out, okay?
And relationships that break up, they always have a way of you looking back on it and you only remember the happy times.
Right? Exactly.
People that get back together, after that initial like rush and excitement rubs off, you quickly realize like, oh yeah, this is why we broke up.
Now, I have never been a repeat offender of relationships, but Clyde was notorious for it.
I was a notorious repeat offender. It was like I didn't learn my lesson the first time.
And learning from Clyde's experience, because as you all know, we were friends first before we were ever dating, before we were ever married. We were friends, and I actually got to see Clyde date other women and redate them. And, think about text messages or Facebook messages or MySpace back then, and really read into it. And he'd get back into these horrible relationships. Well, it never worked out for Clyde. Even if you were not happily married and you were a single dude, because there are other listeners who probably are that guy, just don't open that message from your ex. It's not worth it. It's not going to work out. You're going to end up falling right back into whatever habits or behaviors were the things that broke you up to begin with. So, yeah, I would say it's unlikely that could lead to anything else. Now, if you dated in kindergarten and you haven't seen each other, by dated in kindergarten, you held hands on the playground or something, and you haven't seen each other in years, and you don't have any like dramatic history together, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since, first grade or whatever. That's a whole different situation because you don't already have some bad blood in there.
Yeah,
you know?
at that point, you're basically going to get to know who the adult version of that person
exactly.
is.
You're reuniting with an old friend who, you don't know their history. You're just going to get to know them. It's almost like starting from ground zero.
And my best friend, Boomer, married his kindergarten girlfriend. So
it's the sweetest thing ever.
That's the scenario, people. It can happen.
Yeah.
Although, for me, definitely not, because you're right. I was a repeat offender.
You were.
I was terrible at it.
And you dated psychos, so that was the thing.
Well, I had this girlfriend that refused to let me hang out with my friends. Every time I would hang out with my friends, she would accuse me of cheating on her because she'd say, clearly you're out there like banging other girls. And I'm like, dude, we played cards.
Yeah.
And just told fart jokes or whatever, and she would always say, how come I can't go to guys' night? And I'd be like, because you're not a guy?
Yeah.
So I eventually got fed up with it. I broke up with her. I run into her 3 months later and she tells me, oh my gosh, I actually want to thank you. And I was like, you're thanking me?
Yeah.
Even after the harsh way I dumped you? And she said, yeah, I want to thank you because you made me realize that I can't go through life being a jealous person. And she starts spouting all this stuff out and I'm an idiot just buying into it. What I didn't realize is that she was trying to get me back.
She was manipulating
Yeah,
you.
and she was saying exactly what she knew I wanted to hear, telling me, like, hey, you know what? I know the next boyfriend I have, I'm totally going to be cool with him hanging out with friends. And
honestly, the next thing you know, she steals his guitar. And she was out of here.
Yeah, she stole some water skis, too.
Yeah.
And those were my parents. I was like, okay, you steal and smash my guitar.
Yeah.
That, whatever. I can buy a new guitar, but you steal my parents' water skis, there's going to be repercussions on me from my parents.
She knew. She knew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She was crazy. But you know what? I dumped her 2 days before Christmas. So, oh, yeah. She had it coming. Don't judge me, people. Oh, my gosh.
Clyde, you're the worst. Seriously.
I'm not going to deny that.
I really do not look forward to the day that all the karma comes back and beats the shit out of Clyde. Because unfortunately, I will be the one married to him when that happens.
And I'm sure I have an ass kicking waiting for me out there in the universe, and I'm okay with that. Question number 3. This comes from Karen in Houston, Texas. Hello, Karen. Welcome to the podcast. Karen has said, I'm trying to find ways to spice it up with my husband in the bedroom. Any advice? Oh, yeah. Rosie could go off on advice for days. Let me tell you.
Ask him to take his socks off before you do it.
Whoa. You don't know what kind of history this man has with his feet, all right? Don't jump to conclusions.
Wait a minute, is he a never nude? Because I happen to be married to one of those.
Hey, I don't feel comfortable with this line of conversation right now.
Oh my gosh. All right, Karen, here's the thing. You really need to have a conversation with your husband and ask him what he would like. Because in order to spice it up, it has to be a choice between the both of you and something that you're both comfortable with. Because if you just start throwing shit out there at him, you may scare him. So, let it be a conversation that you both have of, hey, do you have any ideas for how we could spice this up? And maybe come with some ideas, and then he could give you some ideas and be open to his crazy ideas, because Clyde's come up with some crazy things before, and I was like, whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, see, and I lucked out because you're pretty much good with anything.
Sure.
Right? Me, I'm good with anything as long as my socks are on. So,
Yeah, exactly.
But, when we first got married, I'm not going to lie, we were walking on eggshells when we would make love. And I think there was this underlying tension, we both kind of wanted to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
But we were still at that place where lovemaking needed to be romantic. And, and it was at some point, Rosie just let loose, and I was like, oh, we're there in our relationship, are we? And she's like...
Yeah. I mean, granted, you've never seen anything like that before.
Oh, yeah. And she's calling me a piece of shit in the middle of it. And I'm like, I don't know why that turns me on, but it does. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, too, it's really common if you've been married for any length of time, or even in a relationship where you're not married for, but you've been together a while, it's normal to start to experience some boredom, right? And I really think that it's a good time to reconnect and talk to each other about what you want. And, it can be as simple as, you know what? I'd really like it if you text me a couple times a day, because
Sure.
we lose touch, right? And, maybe you want to text pictures to each other, or something that's going to spice it up that may be less risky than, slapping your husband across the face and calling him a piece of shit in the middle of lovemaking.
Hey, that saved our marriage.
Do whatever it is that is going to be comfortable for the both of you and find that middle ground.
And here's the thing about human nature. Our brain is a fantastic thing, and it does this thing where it creates habits so that you can do things without actually having to think about it. And sometimes I think the sexual positions that people take are habit forming.
Sure.
You look at couples that have been together 7-8 years, and they're always doing it in the same position, same two positions. I know when I was a young married person, that was something all of my older Army brothers would talk about. They'd all say, oh, enjoy marriage while your wife's willing to experiment. And they'd say, because pretty soon it's just missionary. Right? So I think it's important to not let yourself get into just a habit.
I think this question is deeper than just that too. I think it's not getting in the habit of not touching base, right? Like, making sure that you are having those connection points that says, hey, I'm starting to feel distant from you, and here are the things that I think might be interesting that could spice this up or make me feel more special, right? Another habit that we tend to get into as we're in relationships for a while is we forget to tell that other person that they look beautiful today, or that they look nice, or that they we forget to show words of appreciation, right? Because we start to expect that is the outcome that is supposed to be there, right? I expect you, Clyde, to pick up your shoes every day and put them on the shoe rack when you get home, right? But after a while, it's like I forget to thank you for doing that, And so I think coming back to the fact that there's some things that maybe have become expectations. Don't forget to show appreciation, because that, I think, is where relationships die.
All right, the next question comes from Rhonda from Irving, California. Welcome to the podcast, Rhonda. Thank you for writing us, and thank you for listening. She writes, do you think it's okay to have a baby in order to save the relationship?
Shoot, 2 of my 3 kids were to do that. No, that's only a joke, Rhonda. Yeah, I think that is not the key to saving the relationship.
Relationships are worthy of being saved. However, a kid is not going to do it for you.
Babies should be made out of love.
I totally agree. I've known people who have had a baby, particularly just to spice things up and just to hey, we're kind of running out of things to talk about or things to do. So now we have this common thing. When they're babies, everybody has the same parenting philosophy.
Exactly. But
as soon as they're 2.5,
oh yeah,
you start figuring out if you and your spouse have the same parenting philosophies.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes into that, right? Sometimes the way that you're brought up is going to be different than the way they were brought up. And so it's hard to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
And that's something everyone goes through, whether you're having a baby to save a relationship or you're having a baby because, you're completely in love and, it doesn't matter. But the thing is that is something that will test your relationship.
Sure.
Right? Me, I'm a little grouchier with the kids than you are. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And that was something where we had to find some common ground.
And I'm too laid back for your expectations. So if it were up to me, these kids would be a nightmare because I'd give them everything they wanted. I'd make sure they never cry. Everything would be all about peacemaking with me. But you hold them to the rules. You keep them strong. You keep them grounded. And I think that that's good balance, right? Between us.
But here's the thing. If it weren't for you, our children would basically be soldiers.
Yeah.
Right? Like
And
very
they'd hate
disciplined,
you.
very, never out of line.
Yeah.
And as nice as that sounds, you're right. There would be a lot of resentment there, and they'd probably grow up to be screwed up adults.
Or they'd have a podcast.
That's right. So,
all about the ways they hated their dad.
between the two of us, podcast called I Hate My Dad, starring Rex and James, featuring little Rosie.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I think that we have found a good balance, and now it comes much more easier.
Sure. Easier, much more easier is the worst sentence you've ever said.
I know, and I'm a 5th grade teacher. Hopefully none of the parents of any of my students are listening. That's right. I teach poor grammar.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Rhonda. I do think you should have a baby. Being a mother is awesome. But I think you should make a baby out of love. So, if you got love and you have good connection with somebody and you're in a relationship that's strong, that's the perfect time to make a baby. It is not the perfect time to make a baby if you're going through rough waters. It's not going to make it better. It's not going to hold you together. It's not going to keep it strong. And lots of people have babies and then separate. So if you think that that's the thing that's going to save your marriage, it's just not reality.
Very well said, Rosie. You are on fire today.
What can I say? It's a good day. This glass of wine is really working for me.
Yeah. Also, you said something earlier that made me think of something.
What is that?
I have not complimented your beauty yet today.
Oh.
By the way, you are smoking hot tonight.
Thanks. That
glass of wine is only making you look hotter.
Yeah. It's the rosy cheeks.
I know. We got to wrap this thing up, people. No. We are dedicated and here for you, the listener.
Right.
All right. Question number 5. This is going to be our last question.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This question comes from Brandon, who lives in Boulder, Colorado. Just down the road. Hey, shout out. What's up, Brandon?
Did you steal baby Jesus?
Come clean, Brandon. Now, Boulder, Colorado, that's college town. So
it probably was Brandon.
I know. Brandon, I don't know if you figured out where we live, but you're dead to me.
The first boy I ever kissed name was Brandon.
And now you're dead to me for another reason. Is this the Brandon? Brandon, stop texting our show.
No, I doubt it's the Brandon. But...
All right. So Brandon writes in and says, hello. My husband started watching MMA. Should I see where this rabbit hole leads or just divorce him now?
Well, so what's up with the MMA? I don't know. Have a conversation with the dude. Maybe somebody at work recommended it and he wants to watch it. I don't know. I think you could never go straight to divorce over something as silly as my husband wants to watch this show. If I did that, are you kidding?
Oh, we'd be divorced 9 times over. You know how many weird shows I've gotten into?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's what I'm going to say about MMA, which for those of you that don't know, that's mixed martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
You will never find a casual watcher.
Yeah, no.
You may be a normal human. You start watching MMA, and within a week, you have a neck tattoo. That's all I'm going to say. Okay? So,
oh my gosh.
Brandon,
you guys cannot listen to Clyde, okay? He is so overdramatic. He's so over the top. He has no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Brandon, don't listen to her. Don't listen to her. She doesn't know MMA the way I do, okay?
I know MMA.
I've lost to some of my best friends that we used to be really cool, and then they started watching MMA.
Oh my gosh.
And now they're, they've went off the rails.
You know what? People love watching that stuff because it's like exciting. It's like, I don't know, you see strength that you know you could never have.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, You got to have some screws loose to just want to watch someone just get their face pounded in.
Is that true? Because millions of billions of people watch this stuff, okay? And I doubt any of them, or even if there were a very small portion of them that take on MMA behaviors themselves, I think that is just unrealistic.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. A while ago, someone invited me over to their house and said, hey, there's this big MMA fight. And this was when it was kind of in its infancy. And so I was like, well, I don't know. I've never really been much of a fight guy. And they were saying, it's different than boxing. You'll love it. So I came over. This guy walked up to another guy, tried to kick him. The guy blocked it with his shin and split his leg in half. And I thought, okay, I'm done. This sport is not for me. And I told the guys, I said, guys, that made me throw up. I have to leave. And they were like, dude, that was the opening fight. We've got like 6 more hours of this.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, I got to go. And then they all called me a wussy. And I was fine with it. I left.
Yeah.
Never hung out with those friends again. They all now have neck tattoos.
No, they do not. You are such a liar, Clyde.
I'm just saying.
You are such a liar.
So here's what I would say. I would say don't divorce him right away.
No.
Rosie was right with that. But you definitely want
Brandon.
to have an intervention of some kind.
No, just talk to the dude. Just be like, hey, listen, we've been married a while. You've never liked MMA before. I'm just curious. Why are we watching this now? I don't know. And if you don't like it, shut off your DirecTV. That's what I did with SportsCenter.
Wait a minute. You said that was to save money.
No, it was to save our marriage. Because seriously, whenever sports was on, Clyde could not break himself from the TV. He would literally sit in front of the TV for hours and hours and hours. It also takes me back to Rhonda's question, because I feel like these two questions are very uniquely tied in very different ways.
Rhonda, welcome back to the podcast.
The thing is if you're at the point where you want to make a baby to save a relationship, or you feel like that if your husband wants to start watching MMA and that's going to cause you to divorce them, there are some underlying problems that maybe haven't surfaced yet that you should work through before making these really rash decisions in order to either save or end a marriage.
Instead of having a baby to save a marriage or just leaving a guy for MMA, maybe you get some counseling or something, right?
Exactly. Love is a
motherfucker.
Love is, you just never know when it's going to hit you, who it's going to hit you with. Be open to love.
Good advice, Rosie. Man, you've been solid all
I know. What
evening.
can I say? What can I say?
Yeah. Well, thank you to those that filled our inbox. And actually, there were about 3 more messages in there. But, you know, we got to save something for next time. But now that you know that there's potential, get on our website, ilovemyidiot.com.
That's right. We'll answer your questions.
We'll answer your questions and, shoot us a question. It could be about relationships. It could be about life. It could be about raising kids. Or it could be about, I don't know, what? Anything, right?
Yeah, anything.
Anything.
I'll give you good crock pot recipes. I don't know. Whatever you want to know. I'm an open book, and so is Clyde.
That's right.
We want to thank Andrew for dropping in on us and filling some moments of this show.
Yeah, that was really fun having him back.
That's right. We want to thank the teenager who returned baby Jesus.
Yeah, thank you, Brandon. I know it was you.
We want to thank our listeners who came up with fun questions to ask us.
Thank you guys very much for being an interactive part of our show. We want to make that more of a part of our show. And I think in the beginning when we were making this, that was always our intent. And
Yeah.
that's one piece we've kind of neglected to fulfill. So you guys need to get into contact with us more often. Fill our inbox with questions, comments. We want to start including those on the show.
Don't forget you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
You can listen to our podcast on any of your favorite podcasting networks, and also make sure you're recommending us to some friends.
That's right. We need more listeners, guys. You are our support system. Don't forget to tell your idiot or any idiot on the planet that you love them.
I love my idiot.
So,
Hey, hold it on the big Rosie stuff. Let's not let that become a podcast thing.